You know that feeling when you stare at your laptop screen for 3 hours straight, accomplishing absolutely nothing, and suddenly realize you've somehow memorized every single crack in your ceiling? Yeah, that's procrastination making you its personal prisoner. How to beat procrastination isn't just about willpower. It's about rewiring your brain's default settings. Here's the shocking truth. 95% of people procrastinate daily, but only 7% understand why their brain is literally sabotaging them. By the end of this video, I'll reveal the one psychological trigger that's been hijacking your productivity for years. And once you see it, you'll never procrastinate the same way again. In the next 12 minutes, you'll discover the real reason your brain chooses Netflix over that important project. A 2-minute hack that tricks your mind into craving productivity. The procrastination paradox that's been keeping you stuck. Why your to-do list is actually making things worse. The single mindset shift that transforms procrastination into momentum. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Netflix Trap. Your brain's secret betrayal. Most people think procrastination is about being lazy. That's like saying drowning is about not liking water. Here's what's really happening. Your brain has two systems. Think of them like roommates. System 1 is impulsive, wants instant gratification, lives for the moment. System 2 is rational, plans ahead, thinks long term. Remember that psychological trigger I mentioned? We're building toward it right now. System 1 is stronger. It's like having The Rock as your impulsive roommate and a bookworm as your rational one. Guess who wins when they fight over the TV remote? Researchers found that when you think about doing something difficult, your brain literally perceives it as physical pain. Your mind goes, nope, let's scroll Instagram instead. It's not weakness, it's biology. Stop fighting your brain. Start working with it. But here's where it gets interesting and slightly ridiculous. Chapter 2. The Procrastination Paradox. Why perfect plans paralyze you. Listen up. You decide to get your life together, so you spend 4 hours creating the most beautiful, color-coded, perfectly organized to-do list known to humanity. You even buy special pens, fancy highlighters, maybe a planner that costs more than your lunch budget. You feel so accomplished, so productive, so ready to take on the world. Then you stare at this masterpiece and think, this is overwhelming. I need a snack first. The more perfectly you plan, the more paralyzed you become. Here's why this happens. Your brain sees that perfect plan and goes, holy complexity, Batman, this looks hard. Let me just check what's new on YouTube real quick. That trigger I promised, we're getting closer. This paradox is actually part of it. Psychologists call this analysis paralysis. Your brain literally shuts down when faced with too many options or overly complex tasks. The 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. If it takes more, break it into 2-minute chunks. But what if I told you there's something even more powerful than breaking tasks down? Chapter 3. The Dopamine Hijack. Why your brain craves distractions. Let's get real for a second. You know that moment when you're supposed to work on something important, but instead you find yourself researching whether penguins have knees? They do, by the way. You're welcome for the productivity killer. This isn't random. Your brain is literally drug dealing with itself. Every notification, every scroll, every quick check of social media gives you a tiny hit of dopamine. It's like having a dealer in your pocket constantly offering you micro hits of pleasure. Imagine you're trying to eat a healthy salad, but someone keeps offering you bite-sized candy bars every 30 seconds. That's what your phone does to your focus. This dopamine hijack, it's the foundation of that psychological trigger I promised to reveal. Studies show that just having your phone visible reduces your cognitive capacity by 10%. Your brain literally gets dumber when distracted. Create friction for distractions, remove friction for important tasks. Hide your phone, close unnecessary tabs, make procrastination inconvenient. Speaking of inconvenient, let me tell you about the weirdest productivity hack I've ever discovered. Chapter 4. the procrastination personality test. Which type are you? Here's something nobody talks about. There's actually 4 types of procrastinators, and each type needs a completely different approach. Type 1, the perfectionist. You delay starting because it might not be perfect. You're like a painter who never puts brush to canvas because the masterpiece in your head is too beautiful to risk ruining. Type 2, the overwhelmed. You have so much to do that you freeze up. You're like someone standing in front of a buffet with 200 options, so you just stand there hungry. Type 3, the rebel. You procrastinate because someone told you to do it. You're like a teenager who suddenly doesn't want to clean their room the moment their parent asks. Type 4, the dreamer. You love planning and dreaming about results, but hate the boring middle part. You want the beach body, but not the gym sessions. The psychological trigger I mentioned works differently for each type, but there's one universal pattern. Once you know your type, you can hack your own psychology instead of fighting it. But here's the plot twist that changes everything. Chapter 5, The 5-Minute Miracle, the Procrastination Killer. Remember what I've been teasing? Here it is. Your brain can't tell the difference between starting and finishing. This sounds insane, but stick with me. When you commit to doing something for just 5 minutes, your brain doesn't resist. 5 minutes feels safe, manageable, not threatening. Once you start, you often keep going. It's like pushing a boulder. The hardest part is getting it moving. I used to procrastinate writing for months. Then I tried the 5-minute rule. I'll just write 1 paragraph, I'd tell myself. 3 hours later, I'd written an entire article. My brain got tricked into productivity. This works because of the Zeigarnik effect. Your brain has an obsession with completing unfinished tasks. Starting creates psychological tension that can only be resolved by continuing. The method? Pick 1 task you've been avoiding. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Tell yourself you'll stop when it rings. Start. Notice how often you don't want to stop. But what about those days when even 5 minutes feels impossible? Chapter 6, The Emergency Brake Method for Really Bad Days. Some days, procrastination hits you like a freight train. You wake up and your motivation has left the building. Your brain feels like it's wrapped in cotton. Even breathing feels like too much effort. On these days, the 5-minute rule feels like asking someone with a broken leg to run a marathon. For these moments, use the emergency brake method, the 1% rule. Do 1% of the task, just 1%. Writing a report? Write 1 sentence. Cleaning your room? Pick up 1 item. Studying? Read 1 paragraph. Instead of, I'm procrastinating, say, I'm someone who takes small actions even when I don't feel like it. Talk to yourself like you'd talk to your best friend. You wouldn't call your friend lazy for having a rough day. Don't do it to yourself either. This connects back to that dopamine hijack we discussed earlier. Small wins create momentum. But here's the final piece that ties everything together. Chapter 7, The Deathbed Test. Why this really matters. Here's a question that'll hit you like a cold shower. On your deathbed, will you remember the Netflix shows you watched or the dreams you made real? Every day you procrastinate is a day you choose comfort over growth, safety over significance, easy over meaningful. But here's the beautiful part. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not destined to procrastinate forever. You're human, and humans can learn, adapt, change. Stop seeing procrastination as a character flaw. Start seeing it as a skill you haven't learned yet, like riding a bike or cooking pasta. You weren't born knowing how to do it, but you can figure it out. Every time you beat procrastination, even for 5 minutes, you're rewiring your brain, building new neural pathways, becoming someone different. Let's bring this full circle. Remember that person staring at the ceiling, paralyzed by procrastination? That was someone who didn't understand their own brain yet. The journey we took was, we discovered your brain isn't betraying you, it's protecting you. We learned that perfect plans can paralyze progress.
We uncovered the dopamine hijack keeping you distracted. We identified your procrastination type. We found the 5-minute miracle that tricks your mind into starting. We built an emergency brake for the really tough days. We remembered what actually matters in the end. Life isn't about perfect productivity. It's about showing up, taking small steps, choosing growth over comfort even when it's hard. Your next step is pick one thing you've been avoiding. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Start now. Not tomorrow, not after this video, now. Because the best time to beat procrastination isn't someday, it's today. If this video helped you understand your procrastination patterns, you need to watch my next video about the motivation myth, where I reveal why waiting for motivation is the biggest productivity killer of them all. The link is right here, and trust me, it'll change how you think about getting things done forever. Hit subscribe if you're ready to stop being procrastination's prisoner and start being productivity's partner. Your future self is watching. Make them proud.